Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Companies to watch.
All right, welcome to Companies to Watch on this Thursday edition of The Breakfast Show. And in the hot seat, as always, is Senor Danko.
Yes, good morning, Emaad, Akhtar.
A cracking morning to you, sir. Very good. How are you?
I'm not too bad myself. Welcome to Companies to Watch. It's a segment of Hot or Not.
Oh, I missed that one.
It's all right, Emaad.
You caught me off guard.
Well, today, it might be a hot one for you because we're turning over to one of the oldest companies in Singapore with roots going all the way back to 1828.
Wow.
What were you doing then?
I was possibly in a previous life in an alternate universe.
Yes, that might be the case. But that was when Boustead Singapore was formed. It started as a trading company in the colonial times, and nearly 200 years later, it's still here, but in a very different form. Today, Boustead is known as a diversified engineering and technology group with 4 big pillars, namely the energy engineering, real estate solutions, geospatial technology, and healthcare. So chances are, if you've ever used an ISRI mapping product, the world's leading GIS platform, Boustead basically helped to bring that to Southeast Asia. So for the less informed, the ISRI's ArcGIS software and services are basically used to create, visualize, analyze, and share geographic information. So the things that you use to navigate your way around, from Google Maps to Apple Maps, these geographic information systems help to globally map the data spatially, allowing users to discover the patterns, make decisions, and of course, tell data stories through interactive maps and apps.
Pretty cool. So part of our everyday existence.
Yeah, pretty much. And we don't realize how this plays such a huge role in our lives. I think nowadays, not a lot of people use the old school paper map, right? So most of the time you'll be like, oh, Google Map tells me it's probably going to take me about 10 minutes to reach work or whichever destination.
Yeah, I guess this tech has gone under the radar, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, very good, Emaad. And in industrial real estate, its Boustead Projects has designed and built some of Singapore's most eco-sustainable logistics and industrial facilities. Healthcare division focuses on delivering innovative medical solutions to address some issues from the likes of chronic conditions and age-related problems. In other words, Boustead is not your everyday household name like See or Grab. They basically do a lot of things under the radar, and they do things that I guess an underdog would do, right? To basically provide some of the services that we don't normally would take notice of until we actually do. So why is Boustead suddenly making headlines? Well, shares of the stock had suddenly surged just yesterday as much as 15.4% in a single day, before pairing some of the gains to close off at 12.8%, up $1.68. So year to date, it's up 63%. Just yesterday, it's up 12.75%. Nearly 5 million shares, Emaad, changed hands across the day. That's after it filed applications to list the new real estate investment trust on the SGX main board.
Funnily enough, I was reading that even though they started way back in 1828, they only expanded into real estate solutions in 1996. So it's been about 19 years.
Yeah, thereabouts, because it took quite some time for the real estate landscape to build its way up. And I guess they finally decided, maybe it's time then for them to diversify, their assets and of course their investments into a different landscape that might help them to bring in an extra income stream.
Yeah, sorry, I need to correct myself. Not 19 years, my math is terrible. 29 years. 1996 to 2025. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the clarification, Emaad. So here's what's happening. Boustead Projects, which handles its real estate business, holds a 20% stake in UIB Holdings, the proposed sponsor of the REIT. And just for those who are not familiar with UIB, well, it was basically launched earlier in March this year by Boustead's real estate division. Boustead Projects, along with Unified Industrial, announced the formation of the vertically integrated logistics real estate development, investment, and fund management platform. So that's basically a move that helps the division to ramp up its business with a new partner and opens new opportunities and geographies for growth. So with access to third-party capital, UIB can help the division to grow faster as well. So back to the REIT listing. The idea is to package Bousted's logistics and industrial assets and potentially other properties into a trust, which basically forms a REIT. And that gives investors a new way to tap into Singapore's booming logistics and industrial property market. So then you might be wondering, what kind of competition might they face? Well, this pits them against the likes of industrial and logistics giants, like some of the familiar names, Capital and Ascendus REIT. We've got Mapletree Logistics Industrial Trust, Fraser's Logistics and Commercial Trust, and EC World REIT. So these are some of the biggest names and players that are currently dominating the industrial and logistics sector. And if it goes through, it might see them, just standing up against them and unlock significant value for Boustead, monetizing mature assets, freeing up cash, and of course, giving shareholders a more transparent structure. What do you make of this potential REIT listing so far?
I like it because, as you pointed out, it allows investors to buy units of ownership in a portfolio of income-generating real estate assets, just like buying shares of a regular company without directly buying or managing the physical property. So I think it gives them a bit of an edge in the market.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And now, while they have reiterated there's no certainty that the IPO listing will proceed immediately, after all, it's still subjected to market conditions and negotiations with various counterparties. But investors are still excited on this news. In fact, it may be on the cusp of unlocking more value for its shareholders. After all, the conglomerate is known for already being a steady dividend player that has paid out the dividend every single year since its IPO back in 2002.
That's a great track record.
Exactly. And for the REIT sector, I think this is something that a lot of shareholders or investors might value. After all, a steady stream of income is something that most dividend lovers would appreciate. And if we take a look back at their recent earnings results as well, Boustead delivered a mixed set of earnings for the fiscal 2025. Their revenue declined by 31% because of a lower order book recognized for the fiscal year. But here's the caveat. Gross profit, meanwhile, they inched up 3% year-on-year to $233.3 million because of good cost control and higher gross margins.
Excellent.
So yes, in line with its track record of dividend payments, Boustead declared a final dividend of 4 cents and a special dividend of 2 cents.
So it's a value add on top of the regular payouts.
Certainly so. So for dividend lovers, you're going to love that. Well, with all these dividends added up, the total dividend for the financial year 2025 stood at 7.5 Singapore cents. That's higher than the previous year's 5.5 cents. So yes, it does seem like there's a continued need for them to replenish the order backlog for the ENC arm, and Boustead is also likely to build on its momentum in Singapore after it announced that it saw orders secured for financial year 2025 more than double. Real Estate Solutions division for the engineering and construction arm secured $214 million of contracts as well. That's significantly higher than the previous financial year. So all in all, just taking a look at it, it seems like the outlook seems bright for Boustead as it rebuilds its order book. So then, that being said, the question remains, is this the start of a new growth chapter for Boustead? One where it taps into Singapore REIT market? Or could it be execution risks and market headwinds clipping its momentum? Well, for me, I am probably gonna go with a hot as of now.
So you're going to add it to your portfolio stock?
Yes. I would be looking out for it. I mean, given the fact that a new REIT player might be a good dividend player, especially since they've got a good track record since 2002.
Yeah, as you said, they're a defensive stock. They've paid out dividends on a regular basis since 2002, special dividends as well.
Yeah.
They are resilient. They've been through the fire, come out relatively unscathed. So I'm going to go with a hot as well.
Yeah, and it does seem like a nice breath of fresh air for the logistics and industrial sector in Singapore, seeing how the big players has been dominating the space. So we'll see how this takes effect. But that wraps it up for analysis of today's Stock in Focus, Boustead Singapore. What do you think? Is it a hot or not? Text us 8855-0893. All right, Emaad, here's some fun facts about Boustead Singapore just really quickly.
Let's go.
Now, back in the early days, in the 1800s, Boustead and Company was one of the great trading houses of the East, dealing in everything from spices and nuts to medicinal herbs and oil.
Excellent.
So its headquarters, designed by Singapore's first architect, George Coleman, was nicknamed the House of 7 and 20 Pillars.
Wow, interesting. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it was just like a cool way to name it, but it stood proudly at the mouth of the Singapore River, where the Empress Place building now stands. So what does the British real estate agent care about the most?
Boosting profits.
No. is property.
Oh.
What do you
okay.
call alligators interested in real estate?
I have no clue, man.
Investigators.
Should have gotten that one.
And that's all we have for Boustead Singapore.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.